33-27, the final score. Tennessee wins on the road over Kentucky. Here at a late night, Kentucky not I'm Eric Kane, Matt Ray, Austin Price, and Brenda Hubbs, who's untangling some cords here at about 12:30 at night. It was a good night for Tennessee. Wasn't a perfect night, Austin, obviously, but you had basically 9 drives. Tennessee scored on 7 of them. Didn't finish in the red zone, but scored and made a stop defensively in that fourth quarter when it mattered.
Yeah, it feels like we see the same game every time we come up here. Like Tennessee doesn't get a lot of possessions; they get the most out of their possessions. Yeah. Kentucky's able to extend a lot of drives. Kind of always plays close, and it always comes down to the end. You go back to 2 times ago, it was Pruitt and them with that kind of like goal line stand down there at the inside the 5. Then this past time it was 45-42, and then tonight 33-27. Either way, it always comes down to the wire here in Lexington.
Brent, easy to say defense did not have its best day, but you look at offensively, kind of picked it up. I thought Joe Milton was super efficient. Thought Dylan Sampson had a great first quarter, and of course overall Jalen Wright had another incredible game.
Yeah, I mean Dylan Sampson in the second half and the fourth quarter was unbelievable. I'm not sure what happened to Jalen Wright from an injury standpoint. Didn't get any carries in the second half. He was the last player out of the locker room to get ready to start the third quarter. So I'm not sure if it was an illness or some cramping or something, but he was clearly not 100%. And so it was Dylan Sampson that they leaned on. I thought Tennessee was terrific against the run. You take out the 2 Leary scrambles, and Kentucky really didn't do anything running the football. Tennessee just got torched in the back end. Pass rush didn't get home, and Tennessee didn't have really any answers in the back end in the secondary, which kept Kentucky in it. But give Tennessee credit. Give the offense credit. Give the defense credit. In the fourth quarter, when you had to have a stop, you forced the missed field goal, you capitalized on it immediately, and then the last 4 minutes or so, we always talk about closing out a game, and Tennessee closed out a game on offense.
To me, that was the big growth, Matt. I mean, like to be able to take it with 4 minutes to go and never give Kentucky the ball back. And, student body left for Joe Milton on the one play was fantastic. That thing was blocked up so well.
Yeah, he's reading that play really well. Tennessee's going to it, showing a little bit of confidence in him on that. And overall, it felt like just a much more confident game for Joe Milton. Tennessee did have a little bit of a lull there coming out of the half, but to be able to bounce back the way that they did in the fourth quarter was pretty remarkable. And then, I thought it was good to see Dante Thornton get involved. A couple of nice runs after catch, something that Tennessee's been looking for. So I think he finished the night with 3 catches for 63 yards, and, every one of them were pretty crucial moments.
Yeah, I like him out wide. I think he's better there. I think he's better outside than inside. I don't think he's comfortable in the slot. I tell you something they did that I wonder if you'll see a little bit more. We saw a little Dylan Sampson in the slot late in the game. Yeah. A couple of catches there. You wonder where you're trying to find some depth that maybe even you might see some Jalen Wright and some Dylan Sampson on the field at the same time with Sampson playing some slot to spell Squirrel White.
I was going to say in the first half when Wright was in the football game, they're on one of those drives getting closer to the end zone or red zone. You saw a tight end back there. We've seen this before, but you saw McCallum Castles or Jacob Warren in the backfield, and you saw Jalen Wright out in the skinny slot. So, potentially I think that could be something they look at moving forward. Brent, we'll stay with you. I didn't think that, offensively play calling, certainly at times, maybe not the entire game, was very aggressive. But again, Joe Milton, with what he was asked to do, did it at a high clip, and he took a 3rd down sack, which you want to get rid of the football, but outside of that, he played a pretty sharp football game.
I thought he was terrific. I thought it's the best game he's played in his Tennessee career.
Yeah.
I thought he used his feet to escape trouble. I thought he turned a lot of negatives into positives. They ran him some. I don't know why you got to be super aggressive, when you're running the football the way they were running the football. It was just, they were chunking them to death there for, just getting big chunks on the ground game. They wanted to take a couple of shots. Kentucky played more zone than I thought they would play in the back end. That's something they did against Missouri. Jason Swain pointed this out on the Vol Network's pregame show. The typical tendency for Kentucky is to play a lot of man in the back end. I don't think they're real comfortable with their secondary, so they tried to play some zone and not give up the big play. They gave up the one to Chaz Nimrod when they went man, but they played a ton of zone, forcing Joe to maybe chunk it underneath, drop it off underneath some, and it obviously got numbers in the box in their favor so they could run the football, and they took full advantage of that. But overall, if you walk out of this game, you can talk about a lot of things that Matt, that you say, well, they could have done this better, that better. There's not a whole lot more that you can take away from Joe Milton's game to say Joe could have done this better, or boy, he was way off here. If Joe Milton will play like that the rest of the way, he'll give Tennessee a chance to win every football game they play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, for Joe, when he came into the media session there, somebody told him that, at one point he was 14-16, finished 18-21, and he was pretty unfazed by it. It just felt like they had played really good operational football and that he did what the coaching staff asked for him to do. And I think you're right, Brent. I think it goes to a lot of that, being able to take what Kentucky gave him, because they did play a lot of zone on the back end. It felt a lot like, kind of what Texas A&M did to him. You got, an advantageous box and you were able to run the football. But from an operational standpoint, Joe Milton was really, really good tonight.
I thought he made one mistake, and they got away with it late in the game. He snapped the ball with about 14 seconds left on the play clock, which was like, and then you had the injury, which caused the 10-second runoff, so you didn't have to make that decision about the field goal or not. If he milks that play clock a little further down, then the injury doesn't factor in at all. But if there's no injury there, then Tennessee's got to kick a field goal to make it a double-digit lead. Anything can happen there. I thought from an operational standpoint, that was the one I went, Joe, there's still time, man.
Yeah.
Hang on, right, AP? I mean, I just thought he was a little quick on that one.
Well, again, that you're right. That's probably the only mistake he had all night.
Operationally.
He's the quarterback, so I guess he's taking the snap. You have to, put it to him. Tennessee, again, will have to, figure out how to get the pass rush going again. We talked about it, Hubbs and I did, and Heupel afterwards was asked about what did Kentucky do, and he just stared at the reporter. And
I know Warren Burrell got held like crazy there. They were going to score the next play. I mean, that's an egregious missed call.
Yeah, but he wasn't talking about that. They're talking about the ability to have a pass rush. Tennessee never got. Devin Leary. He had about the cleanest jersey. They got home one time.
Yeah.
Omar Norman Lott and Tyler Barron got home. And the rest of the time it was.
He was sitting pretty.
Shoot, I could have played quarterback back there, and not taking a hit. They covered up a lot of stuff, and I think he just saw a lot of holding in there. And to be honest with you, about middle of the week, one of the main people on staff told me that Kentucky's got a propensity to grab and hold, and it'll boil down to just do the officials call it. They didn't.
They did not. We'll continue to look at this, and I'm sure we'll point it out and 10 things you think you learned and all the stuff moving forward. But again, Brent. Tennessee scored on, I think, 7 of 9 true possessions. I think they had 10 possessions, but one they kind of let the game run out there towards the end. But again, 1 for 4 in red zone opportunities, scoring touchdowns. I said this in the game thread tonight. You're not going to beat Georgia kicking field goals. Going on the road playing a Missouri team that can score with Brady Cook right now, you might not beat Missouri kicking field goals. Again, that's something this team's just got to get better at. But it did cash in. It did get points. It did not turn the ball over in its own territory a couple of times, going for it on 4th down. It was able to get points out of that. You needed every point tonight, but you still got to find a way to finish in the red zone.
Well, and again, I think what you're going to look at when you see red zone is penalties. You had a holding penalty. You were going to have 1st and 10 at the 12. You had a holding penalty on the backside of the play that set you back there. You had 2 more offensive line penalties in the red zone. 3 of your penalties came in the red zone in the first half.
Yeah.
They got to clean that up. It's tighter down in there. They tried to do some different things. They tried to run that quarterback counter, missed a block. Guard, I think Ollie Lane missed a block there, and that play never had a chance. Kind of creative, a little bit different, but they're having, it's no secret, they're having a hard time. And you're right, you don't beat good teams, good offenses by kicking field goals. The 3 points at the end of the first half were huge to steal those there. But the red zone
2 times
stuff.
in a row they've done that up here.
Yeah, they have 2 times. That one there, they
stole it.
They literally stole that one at the end, because I have no idea how they ruled that a catch for Ramel Kitten. I don't know what they saw in that review. That was like the Buffalo Wild Wings guy hitting a button, right? That was one of those deals where he bobbled the ball. He didn't. So I don't know what they saw there, but that gifted Tennessee 3 points.
Let's talk about that sequence real quick, Matt. And again, Josh Heupel kind of spoke on it, post game, said, hey, we just need to make sure we got the 3 there, that they had 7, 8 seconds, had a timeout. You feel like that's enough time to take a shot to the end zone, especially how aggressive he is as a play caller and as a head coach for the majority of the time. But you settled to kick a field goal, and there were 7 seconds off the clock. 7 seconds on the clock, you kick the field goal, then there's 5 seconds. I don't know how in the world only 2 seconds run off in that situation, but little weird sequence, at least for Josh Heupel, but he did get the 3 points.
When you talk about operational, the clock operator had a tough time
Little
there
home cooking.
at the end of the first half. Some real struggles there. Didn't start the clock one time. Tennessee played a snap and it stayed at 26 seconds. But overall, I thought more so at that drive, not taking the shot to the end zone. I thought when Tennessee came out and run the ball right there early, they let a little bit too much time run off the clock in that one. I get it. You want to get started and get favorable in terms of second and short or whatever right there, but I thought too much time ticked off the clock, and it kind of probably took an opportunity away from you there at the end of the half where you could have taken at least one shot when you got down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you wasted some time early. I think that you were a little bit in between what you're going to do there. Are you going to run the clock out and go to the locker room? Are you really going to get aggressive? If you pop something, you're going to get aggressive. They're kind of in between, and then they started to go. With 7 seconds to go, Joe had bought time to make plays. That's not a situation where you can buy time to make play. I just don't think you're going to take a chance. I mean, it was a really high percentage of not happening. I'm not sure how to phrase that, but it was not going to likely end up in a touchdown. You weren't going to bust one open right there. So I don't fault that one at all for kicking there with 7 seconds to go.
And Heupel said there should have been 9 seconds on the clock too.
And I think that's what changed his mind. Like,
Okay.
had it been
7
9, that he asked him to review it, and that's what they came back with. I mean, like, because I asked him, I said, "Is that not something you can ask to review?" And he goes, "We did," and that's what they came back with. So I mean, like, had it been 9, I think they'd probably take a shot there because they would have had time.
And again, I go back to he kicked the field goal with 7 seconds. The 5 seconds on the clock after that field goal. I'm not sure how only 2 seconds.
How many times have you watched the end of a game with like 4 or 5 seconds to go and it runs out the clock?
Yeah.
For like 2 seconds it went off. They're like,
Exactly.
Let's get Barry out a chance. And then Tennessee almost did. Like, sometimes I don't know if he just missed it. I don't want to say he didn't miss it.
Tuberville can boot it through the end zone every time.
That's one of the more buying. Sometimes I think they get too cute because I mean, like, he literally just. I mean, he's a weapon.
Well, he was 3 or 4 yards deep when he brought it out. I mean, it's not like he caught it at the 4-yard line and took off running there. I mean,
I thought he caught it more right at the goal.
No, I mean he was a couple deep there. I don't know that Tuberville got that ball completely, but I mean that they did what Kentucky did what they should have done there, and that's take a chance.
Yeah.
I mean and maybe Tuberville didn't get it exactly as well as he wanted to, but he didn't hit that one to the 8 or to the 4. I mean that one was deep, and typically nobody's bringing it out. But at that point, Barryon Brown did what he should have done. That's bring it out.
Special teams continue to be super stock up. I mean, like, they've had a few glitches here and there the last few years, giving up a fake punt here and there. But I mean, the three-headed monster of Campbell, Tuberville, and Jackson Ross. I mean, fantastic. Continue to be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Campbell's a weapon. When you can't finish drives in the red zone, obviously he's there. It almost feels like a guaranteed 3. You feel good about him. And then, of course, Jackson Ross. I mean, there was one punt out there today where, I almost thought he was going to fake it because he was running right with that rugby, and then he stopped, and then he punted it. I'm like, okay, what are you doing right there? But I think he averaged like 40 yards a punt. He had one that was, well into the 40s. He is really a weapon. And on nights where you have to play complementary football, Brent, you have to, the defense isn't stopping some guys, or, offensively, points are few and far to come by. You need that third phase of the game, and you saw it against A&M. Seen that points at times this year, but again, the special teams was really impressive tonight.
Yeah, and the one thing that surprised me with special teams is D. Williams fair caught every kickoff. I thought there was a couple of times.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just don't believe kind of where their kickoff return is right now.
Jimmy Holiday did that last year.
Maybe he's not, that he's much better as a punt returner than a kickoff returner. Yeah. But I was surprised they didn't take a chance and let him come out with one of those. But that was I'm fair catching this one the whole time type deal.
We'll pick this game apart. We'll point out positives, negatives, all that type of stuff, Matt. But at the end of the day, Austin and I talked about in the 2-minute drill, for you to accomplish what you wanted to accomplish this year, lead the season feeling good and all that type of stuff. And again, you're not technically out of the East race, but it's an uphill climb. To get to 9-10 wins potentially, you needed this win. You needed to win 2 of the 3 between this game, Missouri and Georgia, and of the 3 games, this was probably the easiest. So going on the road, doing something you hadn't done all year, winning a football game, thought that was big, and Tennessee got the win and played some pretty good offense.
Well, I think the biggest thing to take away from this is winning is hard, and we all know that anyways, but I think you kind of fall into that trap of, well, Tennessee should win this game this particular kind of way,
Tennessee
or
should
whatever.
Score 45 points.
Look,
yeah.
North Carolina's lost the last 2 weeks with their first top 10 pick there, and Drake May, to Georgia Tech and to Virginia. USC should have went to overtime. Cal went for 2, lost 50-49. They had dropped 2 in a row. They would have been 3 in a row with 3 murderous games left. I mean, and those are with, again, guys that are probably going to be 1-2 in the NFL draft as a signal caller. Again, finding ways to win. They won it defensively 2 weeks ago. They won it offensively tonight when the defense was struggling. Just finding ways to win. If they win at Missouri and it's by 2 points, it doesn't go just like everybody wants it to go. Who cares? They won, right? I mean, they'll be 8-2 hosting Georgia.
It's huge, huge. Matt, you get the last word, man. Tennessee 33-27 win up here in Kentucky, where Tennessee's won a lot of games.
Yeah, I think AP said it last week. Tennessee had a chance to go into November 6-2.
Only happened once. Now it's happened twice, back-to-back years with Josh Heupel as the head coach
You're bowl
since
eligible.
Philip Fulmer was fired.
You're bowl eligible going into November with UConn and Vanderbilt on the schedule, and you go to Missouri and see what happens. They're a good football team, but I think there's some matchups there for Tennessee that they can have some success. So we'll see. But overall, I think a pretty important win for Josh Heupel.
Tennessee wins 33-27 over Kentucky. We'll have plenty of post-game reaction. It's up on the website right now and over the night, and of course all day Sunday. We'll let you know what we thought of after the game. Again, 33-27, Tennessee takes down Kentucky, all right here. Post-game coverage at Volquest.com.